Good morning, and welcome to Spartan Spotlight, where we bring you all things regarding AU athletics. I'm Randy Armstrong. Today we'll be talking with Coach Kyler Berkman, men's lacrosse head coach, and defense player Travis Brown. We'll also have a short feature story to hear about one of the senior players on the men's lacrosse team. Later on in the show, we'll be talking to defense player Sam Sitchie and midfield player Lauren Whitfield from the women's lacrosse team. Coach Kyler Berkman and the men's lacrosse team have been well underway with preseason workouts, with Coach Berkman having an outstanding record of 29-8 for his time here at AU, and Travis Brown returning for another great season. I'm here with the two of them to hear about their expectations for this year. So Coach, 29-8, impressive record with Midwest Conference regular season and tournament championship. What expectations are you having so far for the season?
Yeah, Randy, I think we have high expectations for this year. We have a strong senior class led by Max Obrecht, who's a two-time All-American returning for his senior year, and Travis on defense to lead us. I think winning the conference last year, that's where the expectation is coming into this season.
Good. What has been your main focus on working improvements from last year to this year?
I think our defense. I think we know that we're going to be strong offensively. We have a lot of returners on offense. Defense, we have a lot of new guys that are going to be stepping into the mix, and it's up to Travis and some of the older guys to really show those younger guys how to follow in the guys' footsteps that were before them.
Good. And Travis, taking on those leadership roles, what goals do you have individually?
Like Coach said, is to get the defense together. Last year we had a lot of chemistry as a group. We've been together 3-4 years, and this will be the first year it's a new group, a whole new group of guys, so we're going to try to do in 5 months what we did in 3 years, get everyone together. That's a big goal.
Awesome. And what improvements do you have individually that you want to look to?
Every athlete, they want to increase what they did last year, do better, progress, so just get better as a player, pretty much.
Awesome. And as the team's training for the first game in the spring, how has strength and conditioning program impacted? We'll start with you, Travis. How do you think?
I think it's good. Everyone's getting in there together, working together. That's something that we didn't have in years past. We've done more. Everyone's kind of been individuals working out on their own. This is the first year we've gotten a good group of guys in there consistently, so it's good.
What do you think, Coach?
Yeah, I couldn't say enough about Coach Trudeau and our strength and conditioning program. Just the reduced rate of injuries in the last couple of years has been something like 75 or 80%, and that's huge for our athletes to be able to compete day in and day out, and get bigger, faster, and stronger, and compete on that national level like we always talk about.
Awesome. And then AU is very well known for giving back to the community. How have you guys been keeping up with that image in the off season?
We do a lot of different things. Last year we did a lot in the community with raking leaves, and there's actually a older lady who was 90 or 95 that they kind of took on and celebrated her birthday with them. This year, it's a little bit early on. I think that we're going to be doing some stuff here in the spring that's going to coincide with a couple games, so keep an eye out for it.
Awesome. The lacrosse team's known for a pretty tight-knit group of guys. Yeah. How would you say the team camaraderie is, Travis?
This year it's been great. Everyone's been getting along. We do everything together. We've been going to movies all the time, 425 at Tinseltown. Just pretty much everyone's been together, which is pretty good. Last year there was a little cliquey, but this year it's been more one group together. It's good to see.
And Coach, you see it in practice and on the field. How would you describe it, this one together?
I think this group has a lot of fun when they're at practice. They like to compete, and spots are up for grabs on a daily basis. So you can see it every day at practice that they enjoy being there, and it makes my job fun when you get out there and everyone's enjoying it, and it just makes the day go by quick.
And Travis, as a returning player, do you see yourself as a leader in taking on more of those roles?
I do. I think it's a responsibility of all the seniors and juniors to kind of show the way to the underclassmen, let them know what it's about being on the lacrosse team, the way to a conference championship, the way to winning. We got to teach them to keep the legacy going, keep the tradition going of winning.
Good. How do you mentor the younger players? Is there any advice you give them, especially being a student athlete?
Yeah, I mean, you got to tell them the right things to do. You got to tell them off the field, how to act on the field, what to do. You just have to be sure you tell them, teach them, show them the way, give them a path.
Awesome. And then, Coach, you were named NCAA Lacrosse Player of the Year your junior year in college. What would you like your team to take away from your experience as a student athlete?
I really think, especially in the Division III Spotlight, it's really about hard work and what you do outside of practice. And the more time you're willing to put in the weight room, and for us it's on the wall, I think that stuff is what's really going to make you better. I don't know if there's a whole lot of secrets that we know as coaches that are going to make you crazy better. It's really about the hard work that you put in, and that's something that I really bought into when I was in college, and I hope that our athletes can take advantage of, because we have a great weight room and a great staff to make it happen.
Awesome. And you're no stranger to AU's campus. What does it mean to you to be a Spartan?
You know, I think the community here is great. Everyone's supportive. Everyone knows each other when you walk around campus, and it's a fun place to come to work because it's that tight-knit community, and you get a sense of that. And being other places, being a little bit bigger, you don't necessarily get that feel where everyone kind of cares about you. And I think that's special. I think that's something that you definitely can't take for granted.
Awesome. And Travis, being a student and seeing it on a different side, what does it mean to be a Spartan to you?
It's pretty similar to him. It's a tight-knit group. You get to know everyone. Everyone knows you. But also, I think it's a little bit of you got to be dedicated. You got to be dedicated to the process of winning, dedicated to the process of getting better, doing things on your own, like he said, hitting the wall, going to the weight room. That's what really gets you to being better. And that's what being a Spartan's about.
And Coach, I'll start with you. What advice would you give to incoming freshmen looking into the lacrosse program?
Find the weight room and find the wall early on. I think that, you know, as we develop as a program and as we start to compete on a national level, you're not necessarily going to come in and play right away as a freshman, but the more that you can do at the high school level in preparation for getting here as a freshman, the better off you're going to be, and you know, the farther along you're going to be. So start working hard now.
Awesome. What about you, Travis? What advice would you give?
I would incoming freshmen pretty much start now. As soon as you start get recruited, you gotta, that first fall ball, the first 16 practices are the first impression you're gonna give a coach. That's how you're gonna get known, that's how he's gonna remember you. And you wanna start off good. You don't wanna show up to the first conditioning test and do terrible. That's what I did, and it was not good. So you gotta fix it. You gotta do everything right at the beginning.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. Good luck with the rest of the preseason workouts, and we look forward to supporting the men's lacrosse team as you guys dominate during the spring semester. Since graduation is just around the corner, we will now have a short feature story about one of the seniors on the men's lacrosse team to hear about his senior year and plans after graduation.
I first started playing in 2nd grade. I was in class and got a flyer to take home saying to sign up for lacrosse, and I was a baseball player my whole life and never knew what lacrosse was, and so I came home and said I wanted to play, and my parents had no idea what it was either, so they signed me up, and the rest is history from there, I guess. My biggest motivation to play lacrosse definitely was school. I always had to get good grades to play. I wasn't allowed to go to practice if I had anything lower than a B in any of my classes. So school was always a big thing. And it kind of plays hand in hand with not playing outside of school. Like after you graduate college, you don't really play as competitively anymore. So I guess it kind of goes hand in hand. There wasn't really a decision made to be a student athlete. I was just kind of thrown into it, I guess, because you had to play. You know, I had to be a good student to play. So I guess when I started picking up a stick, it was when I started to become a student athlete. So teamwork is obviously a big value that I've learned from playing. You have to have trust in your teammates, and your brothers out on the field, your coaches. But another big thing is just doing what you have to do, making sure you're doing your part in what the team is doing to make sure that you're on the right path to success. If you're not doing your part, then everybody else fails. So it kind of it teaches you responsibility. You have to be responsible with everything, with, you know, making sure you're at practice, making sure you're doing the right things, you know, staying right in school, stuff like that. So the most difficult moment I ever had in lacrosse was when we lost our very last home game against our bitter rival, and we only lost by 1 point after coming back from like 6 or 7 points down in high school. It was devastating because we thought we were supposed to win and we didn't, and it was the last time we'd ever play on our field ever again, so it was pretty rough.
It is great to hear from the seniors and their passion for sports. Along with the men's lacrosse, the women's lacrosse team has been hard at work on the field and in the weight room as they prep for their spring season and their first season with a new coach. I'm here with defense player Sam Sitchie and midfield player Lauren Whitfield to hear about their goals for this season. So Lauren, last season you recorded 15 goals and had 2 assists during the 14 out of 15 games you played. What are some of the strengths and some of your weaknesses as an individual player?
As an individual player, I would say my weaknesses are I get too uptight and kind of down on myself, but I work on that. My strength is working on that and working with the other girls to make sure that their positivity helps my positivity. So
awesome. And Sam, what would you say, strengths and weaknesses as an individual?
I would say my strengths are definitely keeping the defensive side together and getting everybody back on the same page after like a scored goal or just a simple mistake. So getting everybody back together. But a weakness, I would say, kind of like Lauren, definitely getting down on myself really quickly. And it sucks because you don't really have time to do that. So you have to get back in each play and just remember it as a brand new play.
Awesome. And I know it's early to notice much, but has there been any significant changes in the program since Christina Farid has taken over?
There's definitely been a huge change, I would say. I would say number one is dedication. I feel like a lot of the girls are 10 times as dedicated, willing to do things, willing to go to workouts. It's a little bit different than last year. We have 5:30 lifts now, so it takes a lot sometimes to get up after like studying after a late night, but a lot of girls show up. We do things together. If one person is lacking or just can't do something, one of us will at least stop and say, no, you can do it, or pick them up, just kind of get them back on their toes.
Awesome. And then Lauren, what are some of the changes that you've seen with the coaching?
Like she said, dedication, definitely. I think her knowledge of the sport is a lot more extensive than our old coach, so it definitely helps us in that aspect.
Awesome. And then what are some of your off-season goals this winter, and what are you doing to get prepared for the start of the season? We'll start with you, Lauren.
Our off-season goals are just to be in the best shape possible, getting to that point where we can run a full game, because it's really difficult and it's a lot of back and forth. So I think we're preparing by running. Coach Trudeau, he's amazing. He helped us so much, and I think he's really pushing us to get to that point where we need to be.
Good. And what would you say, Sam?
I would definitely say the same thing. I definitely think Chad has really helped. So he definitely keeps us on our toes. He always seems to be giving us tips too. So not only lifting and running, but also like in nutrition, staying hydrated. I know a lot of the sports teams saw the nutritionist that came a couple weeks ago, and I know they were really helpful to a lot of people. So just the little things like that, and once you string them all together, it really makes a huge difference.
Awesome. And then Sam, you're the only senior on the roster this year on the team. So what is it like to have such a young team?
It's definitely different, but I just keep remembering that women's lacrosse is still new to the school.
Yeah.
So definitely as me, I am putting my all into my last season because this is the last season that pretty much counts for me. But I also want all the girls to remember that too. So we had like a little meeting a couple weeks ago, and I basically stressed that, and I want them to make every play, every game, every practice count, because by the end of your 4 years, it's done and it goes really fast and a lot faster than I ever would have thought it went. So.
Awesome. And then Lauren, do you notice any leaders or captains on the team as of right now?
Yeah, definitely Sam as a senior, she's stepped up, and then also Danielle Morgan, she's stepped up and she has a really positive attitude towards every situation, and I think that helps significantly in our process of getting better as a sport.
Awesome. And then Sam, you mentioned, you are the only senior. You have taken on those leadership roles. What advice would you give to incoming freshmen that are women that are interested in playing lacrosse?
I would definitely say keep an open mind. I actually came here playing golf, and I did play, and then I found lacrosse, so I ended up picking that up. And definitely just keep an open mind. I, as a sophomore, had to learn from a lot of the incoming freshmen. So as much as it was kind of weird to say, hey, freshman, can you help me with this? They did, and it obviously got me a long way. So I would definitely say don't be afraid to ask questions. Start now, start conditioning now, start running, start lifting now, hit the wall for wall ball. Just start everything you can, and don't be afraid to ask questions.
Awesome. And then Sam, you kind of touched on it. What got you interested in playing the game of lacrosse?
I started in 6th grade, so it's been a while. I originally started because I saw a guys game and I liked the physical aspect of it, and then I realized I couldn't play that, so I ended up playing like girls lacrosse and became a defender because that's a more physical position. But I started because I love sports, but I've always loved it, yeah.
And what is something that the sport of lacrosse has taught you?
Teamwork, definitely, because you can't be an individual in women's lacrosse because you can't transition it down the field by yourself. You can't. It's just it's definitely a team sport, so it's definitely taught me to rely on my team and trust in them. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then also, Lauren, what attracted you to attend Aurora University?
I like my dad went to a small school, and I really wanted to go to a small school, and wanted to be near the Chicago area, and I really liked that atmosphere here, and I loved the small school aspect.
Awesome. What about you, Sam?
It was close to home for me. It's about a half hour, but I do stay on campus, and I really like, kind of like Lauren said, the whole atmosphere of campus. I actually have this huge fear to leave Aurora in the spring, just because I'm really comfortable here. I get along with everybody great. I love my teammates. I love my coach. All the classes are great. My professors are awesome. People I work with are awesome. So just immediately that like feeling at home and being comfortable my freshman year, I knew I was going to be here until I graduated.
Awesome. And being here for 4 years and definitely loving it here, what's it mean to be a Spartan to you?
I feel like it means like it's very dedicated, but it also is a lot to look up to. I definitely feel like Aurora prides themselves on athletics in general. I feel like we're pretty strong here with everything almost with athletics. So with women's lacrosse, I feel like this year is definitely the year to make it count, at least for me and the rest of the team, with being the only senior and then a lot of the new freshmen too.
Awesome. And Lauren, what does it mean to be a Spartan to you?
I think, well, with the small school aspect, it's definitely togetherness, like working together, and that, like I said, as women's lacrosse, we have to work together, and I think that's very important in the Spartan, being a Spartan.
Awesome. And then I asked Sam earlier, would you give any advice to incoming freshmen, especially women wanting to play lacrosse?
I would say just work really hard, and I mean, we just need hard workers on the team, and I think as long as we get that, then we can advance the program to where it needs to be.
Awesome. Well, thank you, ladies, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Please get ready to come out and support the women's lacrosse team during the spring semester. That is all the time we have here today on Spartan Spotlight. Good luck to the Aurora campus as they prep for finals week next week, and enjoy your Christmas break.